Epstein Files. The Department of Justice has issued a statement defending President Trump, whose name is mentioned in some documents. Our senior White House correspondent, Selena Wang, is near Mar-a-Lago, where the president is spending the holiday week. Selena, good morning.
And Whit, good morning to you. Lawmakers and some Epstein survivors are furious at the Justice Department for missing the deadline to release these files and for heavy redactions. And now these new documents are raising serious questions about why Jeffrey Epstein wasn't stopped years earlier. This morning, the Justice Department coming to the defense of President Trump after a new trove of files related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein were released, some mentioning Trump by name. The department says some of these documents contain untrue and sensationalist claims made against President Trump that were submitted to the FBI right before the 2020 election.
This is it. This is the moment everyone has been waiting for, and frankly, the moment many powerful people in high places were praying would never come. Before we get into the thick of it, I want to wish you all a very happy holidays and a Merry Christmas. I know we are supposed to be winding down, spending time with family, and enjoying the peace of the season, but the news cycle does not sleep, and neither does the truth. And what just dropped is not exactly full of holiday cheer, but it is something we cannot look away from. We are talking about the motherlode. We are talking about the release that changes the conversation entirely, breaking right now. Thousands of pages of documents, previously sealed, previously hidden in the dark corners of the justice system, are finally out in the open. We are looking at over 11,000 pages. Let that number sink in for a second. 11,000? This isn't a leak. This is a flood. And right in the middle of that flood, there's one name that the entire internet is searching for. One name that drives the headlines, drives the clicks, and drives the conversation at every dinner table in this country. Donald Trump. But before we dive into exactly what these pages say, do me a huge favor. If you want the truth without the filter, if you want to know what is really happening behind the scenes while the mainstream media spins their wheels, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications. We are going to walk through this together, page by page, and I don't want you to miss a single update. Okay, let's get into the details. What just happened? A massive cache of court documents related to the Jeffrey Epstein case has been unsealed. For years, there has been speculation. For years, there have been whispers, rumors, and conspiracy theories floating around the darkest corners of the web. People wanted to know who was on the list. They wanted to know who flew on the planes. They wanted to know who visited the island. And for years, the legal system kept a tight lid on the specific details of these depositions and email chains until now. The internet is currently on fire because these documents are being parsed through by thousands of independent sleuths, journalists, and everyday citizens. It is the biggest crowdsourced investigation we have seen in a decade, and the headline grabber, the thing that USA Today, PBS, and every major outlet is scrambling to cover, is the specific mentions of the former president. Now, I need you to listen very closely here because the details matter. We aren't just seeing a list of names. We are seeing context. We are seeing flight logs being cross-referenced with testimonies. We are seeing old photos being pulled up and compared against these new text descriptions. The Epstein Files are not just a static list of bad guys. They are a complex puzzle of relationships, meetings, and social circles that defined the elite class for 20 years. What makes this release so explosive right now is the sheer volume of it. It's overwhelming. You have independent creators pulling all-nighters just to read through the dense legal jargon to find the nuggets of information that matter, and they are finding them. They are finding mentions of dinners, mentions of phone calls, and mentions of travel. And every single time the name Trump appears on a page, it sends a shockwave through the media landscape. But here is the catch, and this is where the suspense really builds. It is not just about who is named. It is about how they are named. Are they being accused? Are they just witnesses? Or are they something else entirely? The ambiguity is what is driving this massive spike in interest. We are seeing a digital excavation of the past, And every shovel full of dirt reveals something that makes you question what you thought you knew. We are looking at the unraveling of a decades-old mystery in real time, and the question on everyone's mind is simple. What else is in there? If page 100 mentions a former president, what does page 10,000 say? We are just scratching the surface, and the deeper we go, the darker it gets. Now that we know the what, the thousands of pages, the frantic searching, the headlines, we need to talk about the why. Why does this matter so much? Why does this feel so heavy? Why does it feel like the air has been sucked out of the room? It is not just about the celebrity gossip or the political points being scored on social media. This is serious. This is dead serious. And it goes way beyond just one man or one election. This is about a betrayal of trust. When you look at these documents, when you see the names of powerful politicians, business moguls, and socialites mixed in with the darkest crimes imaginable, you have to stop and ask yourself a hard question. Who is looking out for us? The reason this unsealing is shaking the foundation of the country is that it exposes a two-tiered reality. There is the world you and I live in, where if we break the law, if we even step a toe out of line, the consequences are swift and severe. And then there is this other world, the world revealed in these 11,000 pages, a world where the rich and powerful seem to operate with a completely different set of rules, a world where connections, money, and influence can shield you from scrutiny for decades. This is serious because it involves the highest levels of our society. We are talking about the people who make our laws, the people who run our economy. There is no hiding anymore. The curtain has been pulled back, and the wizard is looking very nervous. This is not just a story about a crime ring. This is a story about the failure of the American elite to protect the vulnerable. It is a story about how long secrets can be kept when the right people are involved. And frankly, it is a story about how we, the people, are finally demanding answers. We are tired of the silence. We are tired of the redactions. We want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And right now, staring at these 11,000 pages, it feels like we are standing on the edge of a cliff, looking down into an abyss that has been hidden for far too long. The question isn't just what did they do? The question is how did they get away with it for so long? If you think the initial release was loud, you haven't been paying attention to the absolute war zone that has erupted in the last few hours. The reaction to these files isn't just a wave, it is a tsunami crashing into the political landscape of America. And I'm not talking about the polite, rehearsed statements you see on the evening news. And I'm talking about the raw, unfiltered anger that is boiling over on social media, in comment sections, and frankly, in the halls of Congress. Let's break down the battle lines, because right now, the country is split right down the middle on how to interpret what we are seeing. On one side, you have the critics. They are looking at every single mention of Donald Trump, every flight log entry, every referenced meeting, and they are screaming guilty. To them, proximity is enough. They argue that you cannot rub shoulders with a man like Jeffrey Epstein for that long. In those circles, without knowing something, they are demanding immediate hearings. They want the Department of Justice to wake up. They are saying that this is the smoking gun they have been waiting for, the proof that the corruption goes all the way to the top. The people who shape our culture. When their names appear in proximity to a monster like Epstein, it casts a shadow over everything. It makes you wonder how deep the rot really goes. And let's be honest with each other for a minute. Americans deserve better than this. You deserve better than this. We work hard, we pay our taxes, we try to raise our families with good values, we believe in right and wrong. And then we see this dump of documents, and it feels like a slap in the face. It feels like the people at the top have been laughing at us. They have been playing a game where they hold all the cards, and they thought they would never get caught. That is why the specific focus on Trump is so intense. He is a symbol. Love him or hate him. He is a massive figure in our history. When his name is dragged into this, it isn't just about him. And it becomes a litmus test for the entire justice system If there is smoke, is there fire? Or is it just a political hit job? The public is torn, and that division is dangerous. It erodes our faith in the institutions that are supposed to protect us. The legal implications here are a minefield. While mentions in a document do not equal a conviction, the court of public opinion does not wait for a judge and jury. The damage is done the moment the headline hits the screen. But beyond the reputation damage, there is the question of accountability. Will anyone else face charges? Will there be new investigations opened based on what is found in these files? Or will this just be another news cycle that fades away while the powerful go back to their private islands? This event is unprecedented because of the internet. In the past, a release like this would be filtered through a few major news anchors who would tell you what to think. Today, millions of eyes are on the raw data. You are reading the flight logs yourself. You are seeing the unredacted names. They are furious and they are loud. But then you have to look at the other side. The supporters, they are looking at these exact same documents, the exact same 11,000 pages, and they are seeing something completely different. They are claiming total exoneration. They point out that being named in a document doesn't mean you committed a crime. They are arguing that these files actually prove Trump wasn't part of the inner circle of abuse, that he was just another high-profile name in a Rolodex filled with high-profile names. They're calling this a witch hunt, and they say the timing of this release right now is suspicious. They believe this is designed to damage him politically, a calculated strike disguised as justice, and caught in the middle of the shouting match is the mainstream media. Have you noticed how they are covering this? It is frantic. You have outlets like USA Today and the big cable networks trying to filter this massive data dump in real time. They are struggling. They are used to controlling the narrative, but they can't control this. The internet moves faster than their editorial boards. While they are trying to decide what is safe to air, independent researchers and channels like ours are putting the raw data right on the screen. We aren't hiding anything. What is perhaps most terrifying is the silence from some corners. There are a lot of powerful people in Washington and New York who have suddenly gone very quiet. No tweets, no press conferences, just silence. And that silence speaks volumes. It tells us that the panic is real. They're waiting to see if the other shoe drops. They're waiting to see if the public loses interest or if this anger sustains itself. The tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. You can feel it. This isn't just about politics anymore. It is about our culture. We are watching a total breakdown of trust in real time. People are asking if they lied about this, what else are they lying about? The skepticism is at an all-time high. Every official statement is being dissected. Every denial is being mocked. The public isn't buying the PR spin anymore. We are seeing a revolt against the gatekeepers of information, and these files are the ammunition. The reaction isn't just shock, it is a demand for a reckoning. So where do we go from here? That is the million-dollar question. We are sailing into uncharted waters, and anyone who tells you they know exactly how this plays out is lying to you. For we can look at the map and see the storms on the horizon. First, let's talk about the legal reality. This is the part that is going to frustrate a lot of you. The gap between knowing something happened and proving it in a court of law is massive. These documents, as explosive as they are largely depositions and logs. Unless there is a specific, verifiable witness who steps forward with new criminal accusations that fall within the statute of limitations, we might not see handcuffs anytime soon. That is the hard truth. The legal system is slow, it is technical, and it protects the wealthy. We have seen it happen 1,000 times. However, the court of public opinion works differently, and that is where the real damage is going to be done. The reputational fallout here is nuclear. We are likely going to see a wave of civil suits. The victims who have been silenced for years might look at this release, see the public support, and finally find the courage to come forward. This unsealing breaks the seal of fear. It tells victims the world is finally listening. We could see a domino effect where one new lawsuit triggers 5 more, and suddenly The people mentioned in these files are fighting for their financial lives, even if they stay out of prison. Politically, this is a grenade thrown into a crowded room. With the election cycle constantly churning, this becomes a weapon. Opponents will use these sound bites and attack ads until the end of time. Every interview with Trump or anyone else named will now include the question, "Explain this page in the Epstein Files." It becomes a cloud that hangs over everything. It sucks the oxygen out of policy debates. It turns everything into a character study. But there is a darker possibility we need to consider. What if this is just the appetizer? We know there are more documents. We know there are tapes. We know there are servers that were seized. What if this release triggers a leak from the inside? What if someone in the DOJ or a hacker or a whistleblower decides that 11,000 pages isn't enough? The fear among the elite right now isn't just about what has been released. It is about what could be released next. The stakes could not be higher. If this story fades away without consequences, it proves that the elites are truly untouchable. It confirms the worst cynicism of the American people. But if this leads to real change, if heads roll, if careers end, if laws are changed, it could be a turning point. We are standing at a crossroads. One path leads to more corruption and more silence. The other path leads to the painful, messy, but necessary process of cleaning house. And make no mistake, the establishment is betting on you getting bored. They are betting on you scrolling past this video and going back to cat memes. They want this to be a one-week wonder. But looking at the numbers, looking at the outrage, I don't think that is going to happen this time. I think the bottle has been smashed and the genie isn't going back in. The question now is simply, who survives the fallout? We need to talk about what happens tomorrow, next week, and next month. Because if you think this story ends with the 11,000 pages we just saw, you are mistaken. The most dangerous part of this entire saga is not what has been released, it is what is being held back. Right now, the Department of Justice is playing a very specific game. They have admitted that, and this release is happening on a rolling basis. That sounds bureaucratic, but let me translate it for you. It is a strategy, it is a slow drip. They are releasing documents in batches, hoping that the public gets exhausted. They are betting that after a week of reading legal briefs, you will get bored and tune out. They want the outrage to fizzle out so that when the truly damaging stuff, if it exists, finally drops, nobody is watching. But here is the wild card they didn't account for. The pressure is coming from inside the House. We are seeing a rare moment where politicians from both sides of the aisle are angry. You have Democrats demanding transparency, obviously, but you also have staunch Republicans, people who have supported Trump for years, coming out and saying, this isn't enough. They are furious about the redactions. They are asking why so many names are still blacked out. When you have that kind of bipartisan anger, it creates a pressure cooker that can blow the lid off everything. So what is the next realistic step? We are likely going to see a fight over the missing files. Reports are already circulating about specific documents that were supposed to be in this dump, but mysteriously vanished or were withheld at the last second. This is going to trigger subpoenas. It is going to trigger leaks. We might see a whistleblower step forward. Someone inside the system who decides that the American people deserve the full picture, not the curated version. And politically, this is where it gets messy. We are heading into a midterm year soon. Every single candidate running for office is going to be asked, do you support the full unsealing? It is going to become a litmus test. If the administration tries to slow walk this, or if they try to bury the rest of the files under the guise of privacy, it will backfire. It will look like a cover-up. And in the current climate, a cover-up is politically fatal. The biggest variable, though, is the public. That means if the views on these videos stay high, if the hashtags keep trending, the mainstream media cannot ignore it. They will be forced to keep digging. But if we look away, the rolling release will stop rolling, the black bars will stay on the pages, the secrets will stay secret. We are in a staring contest with the most powerful institutions on the planet. The question is, Who blinks first? We have been through a lot in this video. We have looked at the thousands of pages, the shock of the names, the anger of the betrayal, and the uncertainty of the future. But I want to leave you with one final thought. This isn't just about Jeffrey Epstein. It isn't just about Donald Trump or any other celebrity mentioned in those flight logs. And this is about the soul of our justice system. For too long, we have accepted that there are two sets of rules, one for the people who fly private and one for the people who fly coach. These documents, as ugly and as dark as they are, represent a crack in that wall, and light is finally getting in. But light only cleans things up if we keep our eyes open. So here's my ask. It is simple. Do not let them bore you into silence. Do not let the complexity of the legal jargon scare you away. Stay curious, stay angry, because the moment we stop caring is the moment they win. If you want to stay on top of this story, if you want the updates as soon as the next batch drops without the corporate spin, please hit that subscribe button. It really does help the channel, but more importantly, it builds a community of people who are paying attention. I want to know what you think. Look at the comments section below. That is the real town square. Do you think we will ever see the unredacted list? Do you think anyone else will face justice? Or is this all just theater? Let me know your theory. I read the comments and I want to hear from you. And this is a developing story, and we are going to be here for every twist and turn. Thank you for watching. Thank you for caring about the truth. And until next time, keep asking questions.